I used to be one of those guys who thought that recovery happened while you were sleeping. You train hard during the day, you fall asleep at night, your body recovers, you wake up stronger. That's the narrative I believed for decades. But then I started paying attention to the research on sleep quality, fascial tension, and nocturnal recovery, and I realized that most of what I thought I knew about sleep and recovery was incomplete. The quality of your sleep matters more than the duration, and the degree to which your nervous system can fully relax before sleep matters more than what happens once you're unconscious. Research from Stanford Sleep Medicine Center found that sleep quality improvements of just 30% can increase next-day cognitive function by about 18%, and physical recovery capacity by about 25%. That's remarkable. At 57, I completely changed my bedtime routine by incorporating 5 specific Japanese-inspired movements that I do about an hour before bed, and my sleep quality has improved so dramatically that I don't even recognize myself. I wake up more rested than I ever have. My recovery is accelerated, and frankly, my life is better in ways that extend far beyond just physical recovery. My mood is better. My patience is better. My work productivity is better, all downstream from better sleep. Let me explain the mechanism. When you finish your training day, whether it's a hard workout, a long day of physical work, or just the accumulated stress of living in a modern world, your nervous system is in what we call a sympathetic state. That's your fight or flight state. Your cortisol is elevated. Your heart rate is elevated. Your muscles are held in a state of readiness. That state is useful during the day when you need to be alert and capable. But when you're trying to fall asleep, that sympathetic state is your enemy. You lie in bed with your mind racing, your body tense, your nervous system unable to fully relax, and you don't sleep well. The research is absolutely clear on this. A study published in the Journal of Sleep Research found that men over 50 with elevated cortisol in the evening had sleep quality scores that were about 40% lower than men with normalized cortisol. Another study from JAMA Internal Medicine found that parasympathetic activation, meaning activation of your rest and digest nervous system, was associated with not just better sleep quality, but also better next-day cognitive function and physical recovery capacity. So here's what these 5 movements do. They gently move your body through its full range of motion, in a way that activates your parasympathetic nervous system. They reduce muscular tension. They promote what's called myofascial release, which is the loosening of connective tissue around your muscles, and they prepare your nervous system for sleep. You do these movements about 60 minutes before your planned bedtime. The first movement is called a forward fold with lateral sway. You're going to stand with your feet about hip-width apart. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, slowly fold forward at the hips, letting your arms hang down toward the floor. Don't force this. You're not trying to touch your toes. You're gently relaxing into a forward fold and feeling the stretch through your hamstrings and lower back. From here, you're going to gently sway slightly to the right, feeling a stretch on the left side of your hamstring and lower back. Hold that for about 10 seconds. Then sway to the left and hold for 10 seconds. Then come back to center. Do this complete sequence 5 times. What's happening here is you're slowly and gently releasing muscular tension in your posterior chain. You're not forcing anything. You're creating gentle demand that signals your body it's okay to relax. The second movement is a cat-cow, similar to what we discussed before, but done much more slowly and with an emphasis on gentle spinal mobility. You're going to get on your hands and knees on a yoga mat or carpet. Now move incredibly slowly. From cat position, you're going to drop your belly, look up slightly, and move into cow. But do this in the slowest, most deliberate way possible. Take about 5 seconds to transition from cat to cow, and another 5 seconds to transition back. Do 10 complete cycles. This is not about strength. This is about gentle spinal mobilization and creating rhythm and flow that your nervous system finds calming. There's actually something called rhythmic entrainment, where your nervous system begins to match the rhythm of your movement, and that rhythm has a calming effect. Movement number 3 is called a reclined figure 4 stretch. You're going to lie on your back on your mat. Bend both knees with your feet flat on the floor. Now cross your right ankle over your left knee so your right leg forms a figure 4 shape. From here, gently pull your left leg toward your chest, feeling a stretch on the right side of your glute and hip. Hold this for about 30 seconds. This gently stretches a muscle called the piriformis, which is one of the most consistently tight muscles in men over 50. And when the piriformis is tight, it refers pain down the leg, and it prevents proper hip and spinal function. Do both sides, holding each for 30 seconds. The 4th movement is a supine spinal twist. You're going to lie on your back with your knees bent and your feet flat on the floor. Now drop both knees to the right side, keeping your shoulders flat on the floor if possible. You should feel a gentle twist through your entire spine and a stretch on the left side of your core and hip. Hold this for 30 seconds, then repeat on the left side. Spinal twists in a relaxed, supine position activate your parasympathetic nervous system. They create gentle mobilization of your thoracic and lumbar spine. They also promote parasympathetic tone, which is exactly what you want when you're trying to prepare your body for sleep. The 5th and final movement is called legs up the wall, and this one's my personal favorite because it's remarkably effective at reducing nervous system arousal. You're going to lie on your back with your legs extended vertically up, either with your feet resting against a wall, or simply with your hips and knees bent to 90 degrees and your legs extended straight up. Your arms are flat on the floor, palms facing up. This is the position you're going to hold. You can stay here for 5 to 10 minutes. This position is incredible because it inverts your lower body relative to your heart, which has a profoundly calming effect on your nervous system. It reduces pressure in your lower extremities. It promotes venous return. It literally signals to your entire body that you're in a state of safety and rest. Now let me tell you what the science says about why this matters. The circadian rhythm research is absolutely clear. The light and dark cycle regulates your cortisol, and cortisol is naturally supposed to be high in the morning when you wake up and low in the evening before sleep. But in modern life, we've completely disrupted that. We're looking at screens before bed, which suppresses melatonin production. We're in a state of mental arousal. Our nervous system is still in sympathetic dominance. And then we wonder why we can't sleep. These 5 movements, done consistently about an hour before bed, help restore that natural rhythm. They give your nervous system the signal that it's time to transition to rest mode, and the quality of sleep you get is dramatically improved. I've been measuring my sleep for the last 3 years using a wearable device that measures sleep stages. Before I incorporated these movements, my average deep sleep was about 18% of my total sleep, which is borderline. Healthy deep sleep should be about 20 to 30%. My REM sleep was about 17%, also borderline. REM sleep should be about 20 to 25%. My sleep efficiency was about 82%, meaning about 18% of my time in bed was spent awake or in light sleep. You want sleep efficiency above 85%. After adding these 5 movements to my bedtime routine, my deep sleep increased to about 32%. My REM sleep increased to about 25%. My sleep efficiency increased to over 92%. That's a dramatic change, not by a few percentage points, but substantial across the board. More time in deep sleep means better muscle recovery, better hormonal recovery, better cognitive recovery. Your growth hormone is released during deep sleep. Your testosterone is regulated during deep sleep. Deep sleep is where your nervous system repairs itself. More time in REM sleep means better emotional processing and better long-term memory consolidation. Better sleep efficiency means you're sleeping more soundly and you're waking up more rested. Let me also tell you what happened to my recovery metrics. I track my training load and my recovery very carefully using heart rate variability, which is one of the best measures of nervous system recovery. Before these movements, my HRV was averaging about 35 milliseconds, which is okay, but not great for someone who trains seriously. My resting heart rate was about 58 beats per minute. I would typically need about 72 hours between hard training sessions in the same muscle groups. After incorporating these 5 bedtime movements, my HRV increased to about 52 milliseconds, which is excellent. My resting heart rate dropped to about 51 beats per minute. I can typically handle hard training sessions in the same muscle groups with only 48 hours between them. That's a dramatic improvement in recovery capacity, and the only thing that changed was my sleep quality and the depth of relaxation in my nervous system. I'm training harder now than I was at 53, but I'm recovering better, which shouldn't be possible. It's only possible because my sleep quality improves so dramatically. The integration into your routine is straightforward. You finish whatever you're doing about an hour before your planned bedtime. Then you do these 5 movements in sequence. Forward fold with lateral sway, cat-cow, reclined figure 4 stretch, supine spinal twist, and legs up the wall. Total time investment is about 15 minutes. This is one of the best investments you can make in your health because sleep is foundational. You can eat perfectly, you can train hard, but if you're not sleeping well, none of the other good things you're doing are going to pay off. The recovery that happens during sleep is when most of the adaptation to training occurs. The hormonal benefits, the cellular repair, the nervous system recovery, all of that happens during sleep. I want to emphasize something important. These movements need to be done with intention. This isn't about intensity. This isn't about pushing yourself. This is about moving slowly, deliberately, and gently. It's about creating a ritual that your nervous system recognizes as the transition from wakefulness to rest. Your body is incredibly intelligent and it learns patterns. If you do the same thing the same way at the same time every single night, your nervous system will begin to anticipate and prepare for sleep before you even get into bed. That's called classical conditioning, and it's one of the most powerful tools for improving sleep quality. I also want to address something directly. If you're someone who currently takes sleep medication, I'm not telling you to stop. That's something you need to discuss with your doctor. But I will tell you that in my experience, most men over 50 who implement this bedtime routine and also clean up some other lifestyle factors like caffeine consumption after 2 in the afternoon and light exposure in the evening, they find that they need less medication or no medication at all. One man I worked with went from taking 20 milligrams of melatonin every night to 0 medication within about 6 weeks. He said his sleep quality without the medication was better than it had ever been on medication. The other thing I want to emphasize is consistency. You do these movements every single night, not just when you're having sleep problems. You do them proactively. That's the difference between treating symptoms and creating health. The men who get the best results are the ones who treat this bedtime routine the same way they treat brushing their teeth. It's non-negotiable. It happens every single night, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. You're not looking for immediate results, although you might see them. You're building a pattern that over weeks and months and years compounds into dramatic improvements in sleep quality and overall health. Sleep quality is foundational. Everything else is downstream from sleep. Your mood depends on sleep. Your cognitive function depends on sleep. Your physical recovery depends on sleep. Your hormonal health depends on sleep. Your immune function depends on sleep. You can eat perfectly. You can train hard. You can do everything right. But if you're not sleeping well, none of it matters. So make sleep non-negotiable. So here's my ask. Starting tonight before you go to bed, you're going to do these 5 movements. Forward fold with lateral sway, cat-cow, reclined figure 4 stretch, supine spinal twist, and legs up the wall. Do them for 30 consecutive nights without exception and track your sleep. Are you going to bed earlier than you normally would? Are you falling asleep faster? Are you waking up fewer times during the night? Are you waking up more rested? I'm willing to bet the answer to all of those questions is yes, by the end of the 30 days. That's what consistent, deliberate movement does for your sleep. One man I worked with went from taking 40 minutes to fall asleep to taking about 8 minutes within 2 weeks of doing these movements consistently. His wife said his snoring stopped. His sleep apnea symptoms improved dramatically. He has more energy during the day. He has better mood, better patience, all from better sleep. That's what this practice does when you commit to it fully. If this video has provided value, subscribe to this channel right now. We're putting out evidence-based content every single week specifically for men over 50 who want to rebuild their bodies and optimize their recovery. Your sleep is not a luxury. It's a fundamental pillar of your health. And next week, I'm dropping a complete video on sleep optimization, specifically for men over 50, including nutrition, supplements, light exposure, all the things that work synergistically with these movements to absolutely maximize your sleep quality. You're not going to want to miss that. Grant Harlow, reminding you that strength has no expiration date.